I've been thinking about revolutions lately, and right now I'd like to say a few words about scientific revolutions. When something happens which changes the way we think about the very nature of our world. Most scientists, I think, tend to be quite conservative in the conduct of their profession, I mean. As they go about their business, they adhere quite strictly to the scientific method. It's a centuries-old way of thinking that really took formal shape in the 1600s, which might be seen as the birth of our modern technological world. The scientific method is a rigorous process, one that depends on systematic observation and measurement. It begins with a hypothesis, which is a guess, outright or educated, about the way things work, and it tests that hypothesis by experiment, a series of experiments. And if the hypothesis can't be shown to be false, which is not to say that it's true, then it becomes a theory. In this progress from guesswork to belief, from hypothesis to theory, the theory is always the absolute servant to empirical evidence. The entire process is supposed to be completely objective. It's also supposed to be what is currently a huge buzzword, and that is transparent, meaning in this case that the precise methods of the experiments are known and all of the results are shared, and further that these results prove to be reliable and that others may perform similar tests that produce similar results. Progress in the scientific sense occurs when one theory gives way to another, and so on. What is interesting is that this is not a smooth transition. New theories often arise not because of the careful and consistent application of the scientific method, but seemingly in spite of it. Quite some time ago, in 1962, a man wrote a book entitled The Structure of Scientific Revolution. It was very well known, much discussed, and controversial. I read it sometime after that. I don't think I understood it then, and I don't understand it now. But I think it does say, in some way or another, that science advances, in some instances, in ways not created or even predicted by the scientific method. These revolutions, or changes in accepted theory, sometimes seem to come out of almost nowhere. The notion was quite frustrating to many scientists. Newton left London, I think, because of fears about the plague. He went home and in that relative peace and quiet did some thinking, invented the calculus to go along with his thoughts, and then published all of that in his Principia Mathematica, which contained his laws of physics and certainly changed the way we think about the world and led to many new discoveries. Darwin famously sailed in the Beagle, thought about what he saw, kept meticulous records, refined and expanded his thoughts, and later published The Origin of the Species, which led to the development of the theory of evolution. Einstein was working in a Swiss patent office. He was supposed to check out electromagnetic devices to see if they would work, and therefore were worthy of a patent. In his spare time, he devised thought experiments in which the speed of light was fixed, a constant, but time and length, rather strangely and surprisingly, were not. He published 4 papers in 1 year that led to his theory of special relativity and the notorious equation E equals mc squared. Years after, scientists performed experiments which verified the predictions made as a result of Einstein's work. These people seem to have vaulted straight from hypothesis to theory. They weren't big on the lab coats, the Bunsen burners, beakers, and pipettes, even though that equipment is necessary in the thorough examination and testing of a theory. I have previously spoken about lightning and how it was thought to occur, and I have spoken about caves, the way they are created by water working away at rock, moving in the path of least resistance. I think a diagram of a cave in cross-section would look like a stroke of lightning, that unpredictable zigzag pattern. And I think the advance of science, what we know about the world, would look like that too. Not smooth and straight, all on one path, but shifting and jumping in unexpected directions as it makes its way along. I think this is also true for music and art. The new way is known only when it manifests itself.